what struck me as especially poignant with this whole idea is that the nature of where the locations is going to shift because of grid capacity issues and communities pushing back. But it sounds a lot like marketers needing to get closer to their end customers to understand what the end customers really want and being prepared that how they define their addressable market, how they define the client profile, who they're actually creating content and events and doing this education for is going to change over time. And the challenge that I always see disproportionately with smaller companies is trying to figure out a way to be present in the full journey, because by default, it's extremely unusual that I'll encounter a company with less than 50 or 100 employees with less than a couple of marketers internally that really seems to be showing up well when in the awareness and consideration stages. And really, best case scenario, maybe they're doing a passable job with product marketing on the website and they're still depending on a lot of offline. So I see those as huge challenges, but I also see that most of the much more established companies that have the resources to have more breadth on their marketing teams seem to be doing anywhere from a good job to an exceptional job on this space. But yeah, it seems like a big period of time where there's going to be some significant haves and have-nots based on who can bridge this whole gap.
That's correct. That's absolutely right. And also, you touched on two components about resources on each of these teams, right? Whether it's marketing or sales side, go to market in general. It depends on the solutions that you offer, right? If you're talking about less number of target, if you're only selling to hyperscale customers, let's take that as an example, right? There are only probably a dozen or so buyers for your service. Do you need 100 member, 100 team, 100 marketers on your marketing team? Maybe not, because you have a very hyper-focused, limited number of customers. And you probably don't need that many people, but you need a strategy to kind of constantly engage with those limited number of targets that you have and stay in front of them, because they want to buy wherever the capacity is available, right? As long as it aligns with their requirements and their needs and their growth plans. So keeping in front of them, engaging with them, that's fundamentally what it is all about. It's not about how many people you need on the marketing team. It's about how well you can stay in touch with your end users, the buyers. If you're targeting, or if you're catering to a wider range of buyers, more like a colo and a little bit of wholesale model versus 100% hyperscale only business model. Two different strategies there. So it's never going to be, and it's never been that way, that one size fits all, right? It's that you apply the right model for you. And I know in our own space, some really good friends of mine work in the hyperscale part and the traditional retail colocation part. Some of them just have like a handful of marketing folks on their team. They're doing extremely well, and they're making the same numbers as other companies with 30, 40, 50, 100 people on their team.
Yeah. It brings up to the point of unit economics driving what a resource-constrained company can afford to invest in. There's a world of difference between what you can afford to staff up across the full go-to-market when you're selling retail co-location for a few $100s a month versus 7- and 8-figure hyperscale deals. And I think what happens a lot of times is people look to emulate others that they see in the marketplace without figuring out how it contextually makes sense for all of them. So getting the unit economics right on and then you have this whole self-propelled buyer's journey now, where people are more allergic than ever to spending time with sales teams until they're very, very far along. And I don't remember whether Gartner or Forrester or someone else with the 28 touch points between complete stranger in purchase decision. It's a lot of coverage and a lot of surface area for companies that have historically not been really into content marketing or buyer personas or good lead nurturing or thought leadership or any of these concepts that now seem to be more important than ever.
Absolutely.